History remembers the winners, but sometimes the winners were wrong. Welcome back to The Myth versus the Truth, the show where we burn down the story you were taught and show you what actually happened. Today's subject, Nikola Tesla. Every house you've ever lived in, every hospital keeping people alive, every factory, every streetlight, every phone charger plugged into a wall right now. All of it runs on a system invented by one man. And almost nobody remembers his name correctly. You think you know this story. The myth goes like this. Thomas Edison, the great American genius, conquered the darkness. He invented the light bulb. He wired the cities. He built the modern world. And Nikola Tesla, he was Edison's assistant, a brilliant but unstable foreigner who went a little crazy at the end. That's the myth. Here's the truth. Edison didn't just fail to give Tesla credit. He ran a deliberate, ruthless campaign to destroy him. He electrocuted animals in public. He bribed journalists. He burned down Tesla's lab. And in the end, Edison's technology lost. Tesla's won. But Tesla died alone, in a hotel room, broke, with only pigeons for company. This is the real story. Open any school textbook from the last 100 years, and you'll find the same story. Thomas Edison, born in Ohio, barely educated, pure American genius, invents the light bulb in 1879. He builds the first power station in New York City. He lights up the streets. The world cheers. In 1884, a young Serbian immigrant arrives in New York with 4 cents in his pocket and a letter of recommendation. His name is Nikola Tesla. He gets a job working for Edison. And then, according to the myth, the two men have a small disagreement about electricity. Tesla leaves. He goes off to pursue his radical ideas alone. He does some interesting work, but he's eccentric, unstable. His ideas are too far ahead of their time. Edison goes on to become the most famous inventor in American history. He dies celebrated, honored, surrounded by presidents and industrialists. Tesla dies in 1943, room 3327, Hotel New Yorker, alone. The myth turns this into a simple story. Edison was practical. Tesla was a dreamer. Edison built the world. Tesla couldn't handle it. But when you look at what actually happened, the story is almost the opposite. Let's start with the letter Tesla carried when he arrived in New York. It was written by Charles Batchelor, one of Edison's most trusted engineers. And what Batchelor wrote was this: "I know 2 great men. One is you, the other is this young man." Edison didn't hire a random assistant. He hired someone his own people considered his equal. Tesla went to work immediately. Edison's direct current power system had serious problems. Motors broke down. Efficiency was terrible. The system couldn't carry electricity over long distances without massive power loss. Edison knew this, so he gave Tesla a challenge. Fix it. Redesign the entire system. Make it work. And according to Tesla's own account, Edison made him a promise: $50,000 if Tesla succeeded. In today's money, over $1 million. Tesla worked nearly around the clock, 7 days a week. He solved the problems. He delivered. And then Edison looked at him and said, and this is documented, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor." There was no $50,000. Edison claimed it was a joke. Tesla quit the next day. What happened next wasn't just a disagreement between 2 inventors. It was a war, and Edison fought dirty. Tesla, now working with investor George Westinghouse, had developed something far more powerful than Edison's system. It was called alternating current, AC power. Here is the key difference, explained simply. Edison's DC power could only travel about 1 mile from its source. If you wanted to power a city, you needed a power station on almost every block. It was expensive, it was inefficient, and it simply didn't scale. Tesla's AC power could travel hundreds of miles from a single station. One power plant could light up an entire region. It was the obvious future of electricity. Edison understood this, and he understood that if AC power won, his entire business empire would be worth nothing. So he didn't compete with Tesla scientifically. He tried to make AC power illegal. Edison launched what historians now call the War of Currents. His strategy was fear. He hired a man named Harold Brown to travel from town to town with a public demonstration. Brown would set up a stage. He would invite an audience, and then, in front of families, journalists, and local officials, he would publicly electrocute animals using Tesla's AC current. Dogs, calves, and eventually, in 1903, a circus elephant named Topsy, filmed on camera for maximum public impact. Edison framed every death as proof. AC power kills. It's a weapon, not a technology. He even lobbied the state of New York to adopt AC current for their new electric chair, specifically so that AC would become publicly associated with execution and death. The chair was called the Westinghouse, after Tesla's business partner. Edison wanted Tesla's technology to be literally synonymous with killing. And still, Tesla won. In 1893, Westinghouse and Tesla won the contract to illuminate the Chicago World's Fair. 100,000 light bulbs. The entire fairground lit up with AC power. Millions of visitors saw it. It was called the City of Light. A year later, Tesla's AC generators were installed at Niagara Falls, powering the entire city of Buffalo, New York, from a single source, over 20 miles away. It was proof of concept for the entire world. Edison's DC system became obsolete almost overnight. So if Tesla won, why did Edison become the legend? Part of the answer is money. Edison had powerful backers. J.P. Morgan, one of the richest men in American history, had invested heavily in Edison's infrastructure. When AC won, Morgan helped manage Edison's legacy. Edison received honors, awards, and endless press coverage for the rest of his life. Tesla, meanwhile, had a falling out with Westinghouse over royalties. He actually tore up his own royalty contract voluntarily to help Westinghouse survive financially. It was one of the most financially devastating decisions in the history of science. His greatest dream was a tower in Long Island, Wardenclyffe Tower, designed to transmit wireless electricity across the globe for free to anyone on Earth. J.P. Morgan funded the early construction. Then he asked Tesla a simple question: where can I put the meter? Tesla said the whole point was that there was no meter. It would be free for everyone. Morgan pulled the funding immediately. The tower was never finished. It was demolished for scrap metal during World War I. And then there is the radio. In 1943, the same year Tesla died, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Nikola Tesla, not Guglielmo Marconi, was the true inventor of radio. Tesla never learned of this ruling. He had died alone in his hotel room months before. Here is what this story is really about. It is not just about science. It is about who controls the story. Edison was a genius at one thing above all else, not invention, but perception. He understood that in the modern world, the person who controls the narrative controls history. Tesla had ideas that literally power your world right now, but he trusted that the truth would speak for itself. It didn't, not in his lifetime. Every time you plug something into a wall, a phone, a lamp, a laptop, the electricity flowing into it is alternating current. It travels from a power station built on Tesla's principles across hundreds of miles directly to you. Edison's system powers almost nothing today. The myth lost, the truth won. But only one of them got the statue. History is full of stories like this, where the person we celebrate and the person who actually changed the world are not the same. If that surprises you, leave a comment with one word: rewrite. And if you want the next truth, subscribe, because this series is just getting started.